We're going to replace it with a vision.
Ryan nominated with 200 votes. The full House will be voting tomorrow. You're listening to Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
It's the Yellow Tag event, and now is the time to find your ultimate adventure. Whether you're carving snow on a Ski-Doo snowmobile or hitting trails with Can-Am ATVs and side-by-sides, we have a ride for every rider that delivers full-throttle excitement on any terrain. Hurry in by October 31st and save up to $2,500 on select 2015 models and get up to a 3-year warranty. Visit Bannock Sales and Service in Carrolltown. Restrictions may apply. See your dealer for details. For safety and training info, contact the ATV Safety Institute.
If you want to work until you drop, reduce your standard of living in retirement, or lose more of your hard-earned money in the stock market, then just ignore me. But if you'd like to generate a steady, predictable income, I'm talking real wealth and financial security for as long as you live, then listen to this. A free report is now available that reveals the money-making secrets Wall Street and the banks don't want you to know. It reveals how you can get guaranteed growth, safety, and wealth-building power without risking your money in the Wall Street casino. To get your free special report, visit bankonyourself.com. That's bankonyourself.com.
As heavy as the rain in New York City as Officer Randolph Holder, killed in the line of duty, is laid to rest.
I posthumously promote Police Officer Randolph Holder, Shield number 13340, to Detective First Grade, and issue him Shield 9657.
Police Commissioner Bill Bratton, a former House Speaker, enters a plea in a hush money case.
He knew what he was doing was wrong at the time he did it. That admission from former U.S. House Speaker Dennis Hastert as he entered a guilty plea to illegally structuring cash withdrawals to dodge the $10,000 threshold requiring banks to report the money. By pleading guilty, Hastert avoids a trial and, for the moment, avoids the potentially dark details of why the money was withdrawn. Court documents say the cash was hush money for prior misconduct. Sources have said that misconduct was sexual abuse of at least one young man while Hastert was a wrestling coach before he ran for Congress. In Chicago, Mike Tobin, Fox News.
While GOP candidates debate tonight, a Democratic presidential contender may be getting ahead of himself.
Despite Democratic frontrunner Hillary Clinton's efforts to look ahead to the general election, Democratic Socialist Senator Bernie Sanders still leads her here in New Hampshire polls as he sharpens his attacks on her. And now, even some of Sanders' top aides are also talking tough. Campaign manager Jeff Weaver telling Bloomberg of Clinton, quote, "Look, she'd make a great vice president. We're willing to give her more credit than Obama did. We're willing to consider her for vice president. We'll give her serious consideration. We'll even interview her." In Manchester, New Hampshire, Ed Henry, Fox News Radio.
The Army trying to figure out how an unmanned surveillance blimp broke free from its tether in Maryland and drifted in the skies over Pennsylvania today. 2 Air Force F-16s tracked it until it came down near Williamsport. The blimp's tether line pulled down power lines, causing thousands of outages. I'm Kathleen Maloney, Fox News Radio.
This is meteorologist Christy Shields with your forecast for WBLF. We'll have rain today that will start to taper off during the overnight hours. Our low temperature tonight will be 50 degrees. Tomorrow, expect variable cloudiness with just a few lingering showers and breezy conditions. Our high will be 60 tomorrow. From WTAJ, your weather authority, I'm meteorologist Christy Shields for News Talk 970 WBLF.
Hey, friends, and a pleasant evening. Welcome to Lions Live, the only network built by the players to the fans. My name's Skip Drabelbis, along with big dude Stephen Davis, Yaakov Yisrael, and a special guest, Dan the Fan, here back with us this week after a big weekend of Penn State football here on a nice fall evening at State College. Lots of rain, leaves are coming down. We can tell we're halfway beyond through the schedule here, and it looks like I owe everybody a Subway or something up here when they get up here because I was wrong by 1 point from last week, guys. But I'm thankful that I owe you that because it did plan to play out as I did because Penn State, pulled one out here, the 1-pointer last week with a win. So congratulations. I'll make sure I get you guys out here this weekend.
Hey, man, hey, listen, we're not letting you off the hook with Subway, man. Knock that off, man. Up place in State College, man. Come on, man.
Whatever you like. Whatever you like.
Up place. Right there in the fan.
Okay. Wherever you guys want for subs, that's on me, man. But I was glad to be wrong because I just had that sneaky suspicion about last weekend, and I thought Penn State may have wound up with a loss. So big 1-point win. Let's be glad for that. But I'm happy to be wrong. So taking a look at last week's game here, I know Yakov and Dan were down there at the Hall of Fame, and we want to get to that. But we definitely want to talk to you about that. But let's give a little bit of a recap of the win last week here. Stefan, do you want to maybe kick us off here with a little recap from last week?
All righty. Be glad to. Penn State is now bowl eligible with their 6th win. They have been in the period of 45 bowl games in the program's history, tied for 9th among all FBS schools. Coach Franklin is now 5 for 5 in leading teams to bowl eligible games. They're now 36-2-1 all time versus Maryland. So that's a good thing. 17-0-1 in games played away from, especially playing the Terrapins away, and 6-4 years. Games decided by 7 points or fewer at Penn State. So used to pulling out games, and he's on a roll for sure. But with regard to Penn State, the defense was phenomenal at times when it had to be. It struggled at times with the running game and the running quarterback with P. Hilton. Gave up 248 yards rushing. The Lions forced in the game through all this 5 turnovers. That's for 17th this year, and we have scored 48 points off of turnovers. That's how Penn State defense is supposed to do. Get the turnovers and we score. For 17 turnovers forced and 10 fumbles and 7 interceptions now. And we are ready to go. So we recorded 5 tackles, 5 sacks, and we also recorded 11 tackles for loss. 4 sacks. So we're ready to go. Our defense is playing well. Our offense, of course, pulled some things out after we weren't able to run the ball. We only ran the ball for about 40 yards. And we were able to use a very timely passing game, in which now Christian Hackenberg stands at the top as Penn State's career passage leader, moving past Zach Mills. So now he has 7,453 career yards, passing yards. And he also became Penn State's career completion leader, moving past Zach Mills. And now he's finished the game and he has 608 career completions. So Hackenberg now is the top of the list. He had 315 yards passing. He was not so accurate at times, 13 for 29. But we'll take it.
Hey, that's pretty amazing.
Played like world-class receivers. Now that number 12, Chris Godwin, had his 2nd consecutive 100-yard receiving game. So he's done well. And Deshaun Hamilton got a big touchdown catch as well as Geno Lewis. In fact, Deshaun Hamilton has caught 5 passes for 96 yards. And now he has 106 career catches. And now he's actually getting ready to pass his coach, Terry Smith. So it was a difficult game offensively in a lot of ways, but we came through. When the defense struggled, the offense came through. When the offense struggled, the defense came through. And to tell you the truth, Skip, the only place that I see that we've got to fully improve, although we did get a few timely kicks, is the punting. I still don't understand it. But
right.
Guess what? Good job, Penn State. Good win. Way to hold on and way to do your thing.
Pretty amazing how, when you look at the statistics, I mean, here's Maryland, 97 more total yards than Penn State, well over 10, 12 minutes more time of possession, almost a whole quarter of possession more than Penn State, and a 1-point game. So I still think Penn State's very fortunate with the win. We can be very thankful. A win's a win. We'll take it. Glad for it. But man, it was a tough one. It was a hard game, and the thing I kept noticing the most, the ball just seemed to be bouncing our way. So we're thankful for that. Hey, Yakov, any thoughts you had of the game last week?
Yeah. Sorry I missed you guys last week. Very much looking forward to getting back into it. I thought you guys brought up some great points, and I just wanted to add another stat with the receiving core, because it actually touched one of my former teammates. Receiver Deshaun Hamilton caught a game-high 5 passes for 96 yards He now has 106 career catches, ranking him 13th all time, and he's just one catch behind Tony Johnson at 107. And Tony, me and him actually graduated together, so I'll have to let him know his record's about to get passed. So, but nice job by Saquon Barkley. You know, getting another touchdown, putting him tied for fourth most by a true freshman, next to Curtis Enos in 1995. Defensively, Zettel, had another nice game, tied for 10th place for tackle for loss. Nassib is still doing his thing. And, I feel Maryland was my funnest game to watch this season. I talked to some other people, and they said they like Rutgers. But I kind of wanted to hear what so far what you guys thought was your favorite win for Penn State.
Yeah, good question there. I can appreciate that. Well,
it's a tough one too.
Yeah, it is. It is. And I actually, I'd have to say for this year, I would actually say this past win is probably one of the best, because again, here it shows, despite the numbers, when you look at the stats, Penn State didn't hold the ball as long as, that the defense spent a lot of time on the field. All right. That you look at the numbers, almost 100 more total yards they had over us and still a win. I think that speaks a lot about the character of the team. And, I know it's a 1-point game, but man, that's a great win to come out on top when you're losing at the numbers, and your defense is spending more time on the field, almost a whole quarter longer time of possession. I mean, that's a huge win. I mean, that's a big win. I mean, it's only a 1-point win, but that's a big win when you're losing statistically and you're still winning the game. So I would have to give this last game is probably one of the best this year.
What do you think, Big Dude? Oh, Dan, what do you think, Dan?
Well, what's up there, Yakov? Hey. What's going on?
Yeah, good to hear from you, Dan.
Yes, sir. It was a great win for Penn State this past weekend, especially thrilling on my birthday. What a game! And to watch it surrounded by many of my friends and family and stuff like that. That they're at the Hall of Fame induction to see Coach Paterno finally get inducted into the Hall of Fame. It was a great event, and I want to thank so many of my friends, Tracy and Ron, who just set it up and finally got to meet Yakov. It was something. But one of the the greatest moments of that night was I tried to get to talk to Franco Harris to have him sign my Joe Paterno helmet, and he just kind of passed me away. But I'm friends with his wife, and his wife went over to Franco and said, "Franco, it's Dan's birthday. Go over there and sign that helmet for him. Tell him happy birthday."
That's pretty cool. Hey, well, Dan,
that is cool.
Hey, Dan,
that's cool.
Hey, Dan, why don't you answer Yakov's question? Out of all the games this year, which one do you think was the best?
I personally think seeing maybe Penn State play Rutgers at home, the elements and the people I was surrounded with, and not being out in the rain and up in the suites, but it was a good game. Any game at Penn State, win or lose, is a good game for me. Let's put it that way.
Wow. Hey, Stefan, what do you think? What was the best game for you so far this year?
Well, it would be easy to say that this game was just because of the back and forth. But I would say the game against Indiana was the most complete football game I've seen us play from start to finish. A number of people played. A number of things came together. Christian Hackenberg played like the quarterback that he is, and played to his and beyond his potential. And the offensive line, of course, dominated that football game. I like to see it done. So I'm going to say, in the interest of time, I would say Indiana, but certainly this past game, even though we gave up big plays and a number of other things, and I think that we gave up big plays, we made big plays. But you know what? The Maryland game historically for us, I mean, I know I don't think you guys played in that, but we played them, and every game was a tough football game, and it was the key to getting to the national championship. So I would say yes, Indiana is the best game, and this past game is number 2 for me. and Rutgers would be number 3.
Wow, that's pretty cool. All right. Hey, now, both you guys. Before you're getting into that here. Dan and Yakov, you were down there for that special event this weekend. So, we do want to spend a good bit of that tonight here talking about the induction ceremony, what your experiences were down there like that. Before we do that, any other quick comments before we wrap up from last week's game?
I'd like to just say that, like I said, with winning football, anytime, Skip, I think one other stat that we had not talked about with our offense, I don't know when we'd ever done it. We were 9 of 13 on third down, 9 of 13 and 2 for 2 on fourth down. Those are ball games that you win and you deserve to win.
Yeah.
Because you've been consistent. So in offense, we did throw a pick or two, but what we had some impressive drives. And we had some big plays, anytime, and Coach called them explosion plays, Coach Franklin. A touchdown at 37 yards, 20 yards and 27, and completions of 40 yards, 38 and 31, So, and a couple of drives for 75 yards, a 5-play drive for 86 yards. I think we had an impressive performance and a suck-em-up performance and a return performance from our friend who I keep talking about all the time, Mr. Geno Lewis, coming back into the game and really making us a multiple threat. If we can keep those wide receivers to that level of threat, we have a chance. And I mean, we have a chance in every other ball game that we play. That was just tremendous play by the wideouts that day, not just for the catches they made, but they also tried to stay on their blocks and downfield for another second to free the guy when he got the ball downfield. So that's pretty much it, and I'm looking forward to a big week. But that's it.
Awesome. All right, Yakov, anything else to wrap up last week?
No, I mean, I think you guys, hit it right. I mean, I really just enjoyed to see the fight, with Penn State and, just the team part of it, not giving up, getting back on the road and bouncing back from Ohio State. And, I just enjoyed it. I just really, I really was a fan this game. This was just a game that I thought was a special win. And, I just look forward to the rest of the season because, we're 6-2. I mean, it's kind of, it almost don't feel like we're 6-2, but we are 6-2. And, we have a shot to. We got 4 games left, but we got a shot to. We can make some things happen. So I'm looking forward to seeing, the progress.
Absolutely, and the prospects of being in the top 20 are very realistic, especially if some wins here with the Michigan teams coming up. We have some great opportunities ahead for us here, and I guess I have to say that this is just a scrappy bunch. These guys are fighters, and they just want to keep, like the Energizer Bunnies, going at it, and it's great to see that each week. And I'm sure Coach Franklin's very proud of this effort of this team this year to just come together as they have and come up with a way of winning. And we just hope that continues. But transitioning on here now to this past weekend, Yakov, you and Dan were down there at the Hall induction ceremonies, and maybe one of you two could go ahead and Dan, we want to hear your experience as a fan, and Yakov as a player. Maybe you could kind of give and also now a media personality here, being able to give us a summary of what the environment was like, what the whole process was about, and maybe a summary of some people you noticed down there from Penn State.
Yeah. Dan, did you want to start off, Dan?
You can go, sir.
Okay.
I'm just a fan, remember?
Yeah, well, hey, man, it was a birthday, a special day for you, so.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, I mean, it was just a privilege to experience that, being from Chicago area and kind of, been in Pennsylvania since '99. I've been living out here, and just kind of the things that we've been going through as a program since Joe Paterno passed away, taking away the wins, getting the wins back. Just to kind of see some light, with him getting the recognition that we all know he deserves. And, just to see, just all the things that he's done for so many people, it's just, you just can't thank him enough. And that's just kind of how I felt. Like I just, was felt honored to be a player. And, it was a lot of guys from, I noticed from like the late 70s team. I saw Dan Wallace there. A lot of the running backs was there. And I'm sure Dan the fan, he probably could name off more guys than me. But yeah, Franco, Blair, I got a chance to see Jay again and his wife Kelly and the kids. Got a chance to see Sue. And then, obviously they also had a quarterback that was honored that night as well. But, just so many players Joe Pa coached are in the Hall of Fame. It just, you just wonder if anybody can ever just be on that same level as Joe Pa, as far as influencing and helping and, just taking people and bringing people together. It was just a great time. I was just, just kind of in awe the whole time. So I really enjoyed it.
Awesome. Well, Dan, tell us about your experience there,
I was
some people you noticed.
I was pretty much overwhelmed in a case because I didn't know what to expect. I got tickets for me and my girlfriend to go to this with, like I said, a bunch of friends of ours. We got a table. When we got down there, we found out that we were going to be in the VIP section for a little bit before we actually went into the event and everything, and got to see Jay and got to see Chuck Fusina and Matt Barr and got to speak with them for a little bit and got to see Sue and talk to Sue. Sue looks good. I don't know what Yakovia thinks, but Sue Paterno looks good.
I agree.
It was, and when I had asked her to sign the helmet, she had a glass of whatever she had, and she asked me to hold it for her while she signed the helmet. So that was pretty cool. But like I said, got to meet Lydell Mitchell and Franco. And yes, yeah, they were there. Yes, the atmosphere was unbelievable, and the whole moment. Like I said, my friends helped me out with this, and I couldn't ask for a better bunch of friends and family just to be. How do I say this? Be a part of, and to be a part of something that was well overdue, I guess. And every person that got up to that podium in some sort of way talked about Joe Paterno and what he did, and even the MC talked for a little bit of how he became to know about Joe and stuff like that. Yakov can tell you that. And then when Jay got up, he really then became silence, and then there was a standing ovation for it. So it was awesome. It was awesome to be a part of it.
Well, it's a good experience for you and your birthday. I'm sure you won't. That's one you won't forget now, right?
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah, there you go. Great.
Yeah. I was just gonna add to what Dan was saying about the stories. I mean, it's so interesting to see, and I think we've kind of talked a little bit with, about some stories, and even some of the guys we've had on the show this season, we all had that same voice for Joe Pa. When we're repeating what he says, everybody can get that voice. And, and also, it's just so many stories that people have and memories, just people, like my wife went to Penn State and played field hockey. And, she even has a story, that she remembers sitting out waiting for practice and Joe Pa walking in and like opening the door for the girls, and she remembers that, and it's just so many people that have been touched by him just all over the place that have a story about Joe, and it's an honorable story. You know,
Yes.
and you know, it's just amazing thing to just say you played for one of the greatest coaches. So
That
it was great, man.
It sounds like you had a good time.
I can remember a story real quick. It was back in about 2008, and my dad had just passed away, and I lived up there near State College, and I had walked over to near the Lounge building, and Joe was coming out, and I got like, you know, should I ask him for an autograph? And Skip, you know me.
Oh yeah.
So he's like, you know, I waited, and I said to him, I said, Mr. Paterno, I says, I want to congratulate you on the upcoming season and stuff like that. I says, my dad was about your age. And he said, was? I says, yeah. I says, he recently passed away. He says, oh, I'm going to give my condolences to your mom and stuff like that. And I said to him, I says, can I get your autograph? And he's like, hey, guys, if I had $1 for every time somebody asked me for an autograph, I'd be a millionaire. And I'm like,
oh boy.
That's it. I just took them off. But 6 months later, I worked for a place up there in State College, and I had to be delivering furniture to Coach Bill Kenny. And I had asked him if he could sign this football picture of, you know, Joe's sneakers and stuff like that. And he says, well, how about I call your boss and take you over to Lausch building to meet all the coaches? And he took me over there and, you know, ran into all the coaches.
That's pretty neat. Yeah.
And here's the best part. When it got to Coach Paterno's office, he knocked on the door and he says, Coach, he says, this is Dan Stosek. He says, he'd like to, you know, get your autograph on this picture. He looked up, and the first thing he said to me is, hey, aren't you the guy that was stalking me out in the parking lot 6 months ago?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
And he said,
that's you, Dan.
and then the second thing he said was, how's your mom doing? So
Yeah.
that's kind of,
Yeah, that's nice.
that was awesome. I wish I had a couple of more. I wish I had a couple of more meetings with him, but I didn't. But just to meet him those 2 times was enough to stick in my mind for a lifetime. So,
Yeah, well, you got your autographs, right?
I did, but I got Coach upset though.
Yeah, well, you know,
it was all good.
Dan, you are the most persistent autograph grabber I've ever noticed. But I appreciate it. I know, it's awesome. I mean, this guy here that's why he's known as Dan the Fan. He just is the fan.
You know, not this past year, but the year before, Yakov will tell you, when the Little League baseball team from Tanny was there, I worked in Lewisburg, and I just happened to be coming down from work over to Williamsport. And the team, I just had my picture taken with the team from Chicago, and I had my picture taken with the girl, Monet Davis.
Oh, wow.
That's awesome. And when I took the picture there the next day, her mom, I didn't know it was her mom, but the lady they had won the game the day after. And the lady's like, that's a pretty nice picture. And I says, yeah, I'm waiting to see if she would sign it for me when she comes out. She's like, well, when I rub my nose, you come over to me. I'm like, okay. Here it turns out it was her mom. Her mom introduced me to her and stuff like that. So she signed it.
Dan, you are the fan. I'm telling you, you know, we could send you out to Hollywood, man. You come back with everybody who's been on TV out there. We'd send you right down. Send him down Hollywood Boulevard, man. He is.
I don't know if it's the persistent or just, you know, it's just me being me.
Wow.
Yeah, that's Tyson saying that to you. That's not me saying that. Not being so persistent, Dan.
Yeah, don't let them push you around, Dan. You okay, Dan?
I'm all right. I'm all right, bro.
No, I got you. We got you, Dan. We got you.
Yeah, you're right, man.
He's a rough dude. He's a rough man. He's a rough dude, man. I love Dan.
Oh no, he's the fan for sure. Wow.
Oh, he is, man.
So you mentioned some players down there. I remember Chuck Fusine as a quarterback back before the Todd Blackledge era, from that era. So how many were there any other quarterbacks besides Chuck Fusina?
No.
Was Schaefer there, or Kisner, or
Bill
or
Coleman
Jack
was
Mills?
there. Neil Oakle was there.
Neil Oakowitz?
Yes, he was there. PJ Carlesino, he was the basketball coach for USA
Yeah,
basketball.
that's a guy I want to meet.
And he's from Scranton. He's from Scranton.
Really?
Yes. And Christy Coel was there. She was the swimmer that broke the records. Then there was a guy there from I'm trying to remember where he was from, but Gray Simmons, he was a wrestler. He was like a 4'2" yuck-off wrestler. He's got 99 and 1 loss. 99 wins and 1 loss.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, then they had the guy, the golfer, what was his name? Chip?
Oh, Ed Crabtree.
Yeah, Crabtree.
Yeah, Eric Crabtree, yeah.
Crabtree.
Yep.
Trying to think of who else.
Fazio from Pitt.
Oh, okay. I
Oh,
remember him.
Coach Coach Fazio. He was there.
Yeah, I remember that. Okay.
Yeah, he was the coach when we played them.
Yeah.
In fact, we played them to a tie, Coach Fazio. That was an exciting game. In fact, Nick Gancitano had to tie it up. That was the one time Joe was talked out of going for the win, and we had to go for a tie. There was no overtime. There was 3 of them.
That's right.
Wow. Yeah. Joe was talked out. He said, "Are you sure there's something we can't do?" So Joe, we have to go for the field goal. Are you sure there's something we can't do? Pick play. How about running a pick play?
Yeah.
So I said, Joe, we have to go for the field goal. Yes.
Yeah. Well, Nick was a very accurate kicker here at Penn State in his time. So, he was money.
He was a monster.
Yeah, he was money for sure. He was money. So yeah, I think that was a wise move. Wow.
Yeah.
So there's lots of athletes being inducted that weekend, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yes. There was a girl, Christy Caldwell. She was on the Olympic swimming team.
She was probably like, what did you think, Dan? Was she like 6'3" or 6'4"?
Yeah, she was about 6'3", 6'4". She was taller than us.
No.
Tall. She might have been the tallest on the panel.
Yeah.
As a swimmer, man, she must have been like a submarine, man, going through that water. All them long arms, man. I mean, just think about the leverage and all them long arms and legs kicking.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, the long legs, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's all that leverage and length and everything, man. That's, you'd think of somebody that tall, girl that tall, be playing some basketball. Maybe she did that too. Sure, she didn't get inducted twice over. That's pretty wild.
Well, I do want to say, let me just say this, and hopefully it's appropriate to bring it up, Skip. But
sure.
Hey, I do want to give a shout out to a gentleman that Joe I know helped get into the coaching profession. He's had his ups, he's had his downs, and I think the letterman needs to be behind him is our brother Al Golden.
Oh yes,
He did lose his job, and I want to say that Joe really steered Al toward coaching. I remember him and Jay went down to the University of Virginia. They went down there. They came back. They did this thing. But, it's a real shame because Al, I thought, did a heck of a job with Miami. I mean,
sure.
They got smoked on Saturday, but if you think about it, they were 4-3, and they needed somebody to come back. And this is the issue I have with society. Nobody's talking about whether he restored integrity back to that program. And I really feel like Al Golden did restore integrity back to this whole you stuff that everybody's talking about. And I think that, winning is definitely what is big in the program. It needs to get done. You need to go ahead and finish what's happening. He was 4-3, let him finish the season. They didn't. And I felt really bad about it. And now, of course, Coach Franklin doing a very good job, as I read a lot of the things. They started even trying to throw his name in the mix to keep the definitely focus off of what we got to do for Illinois. So what I say is, media, come on, media, get it right. Leave the guy alone. Let the guy go do what he has to do. Definitely, I'm praying that Al resurfaces somewhere, and I know Joe is somewhere, hopefully, telling him, hey, man, just go ahead and do it. It wouldn't be any fun. And Joe would always say, if it was easy, it wouldn't be any fun. Just remember that, Al. If it was easy, it wouldn't be any fun, man. You'll be back in there soon.
Well, you know, Stefan, I appreciate you bringing that up because, Miami, when he came down there, they were in sanctions. They had things going on at their school. So, he came in to try to, as a reputable man, trying to clean up a mess. And unfortunately, when that happens, you wind up, he's wound up with egg in his face because, when you're trying to draw a line in the sand that all the students and all the kids and everybody's so used to running across and saying, hey man, you can't go there anymore. That's hard. And it's going to affect recruiting. You're trying to change the overall attitude of athletes and players compared to what they had before down there. And we know this all goes all the way back into the 80s when we were around, at Miami. So that attitude down there has never really left. I mean, I think Al Golden did the best he was able to try to clean the place up and try to become try to make it a class act. But I don't know what's going to happen down there. I mean, it's the weather's great down there. People can always, it's great for recruiting. It's a fun place for kids to go to school. But again, that's going to be the thing. Are they going to be able to become known as a school where you actually have to major in something beyond basket weaving to actually
right. And I'm not so sure that like I said, it's just the problem is no one will ever find out about the school with this type of negative cloud over them. And I'm sure there are some majors and there are some competitive things because they wouldn't be getting through the accreditation process if they weren't decent in some way. But I just wish the university would just make a commitment and really think about what's important.
Right.
And until they decide what's important, and we know a number of people have gone to the NFL, no one talks about having the person and how they want to be remembered. And that's what we keep talking about, Yaakov and Dan the Fan and Skip, is we keep talking about how we want to be remembered. When we got done and when Joe passed away, Cove, I don't even know if you were there, but we were all there and there were nothing but, it was maybe about 1,100 people together that played for him. And we talked about this with Dave Miller, another good friend of mine. Just 1,100 gentlemen that, like Yaakov said, and not just a number of stories, but the quotes and the guys we talked to back to the 1966 team. Everything was consistent. Everything was interwoven. Everything had a purpose, and I think that's what coaching is missing these days.
Yep.
I mean, everybody says, of course, the model in coaching can't be the same where you can stay somewhere 50 years. I do get that. But when we start talking about it, what is the model? What does work? And how does it measure up to what it is that you need to get done when you get done playing football? And then, in a seamless way. There's so many people doing well. When I look on LinkedIn, and that's how I saw Yaakov when we first started talking, everybody on there is doing well. And we have a few people that are struggling in other ways, but there's so many names and so many other folks that just people don't remember or what they're doing, or they remember certain teams, You still remember the leadership of somebody like John Schaefer. John Schaefer is not going to be here any records, nothing, but Schaefer was able to come in, get it done, a tough guy, a smart guy, coachable guy, and a guy that wanted to crack upside the head a few times. Guess why, though? Because along with Coach, he had a very high level of expectations and accountability. And that's what we have to continue to do. I think Al did that. God bless you, Al. We'll be here for you. We got your back. And that's what I'm saying. And then they got to stop with this stuff with Coach Franklin. And all of a sudden I saw at the press conference, they were asking the players the same thing. Come on, members of the press, let's be fair. Let's knock it off.
Let's get real. Let's get serious for a change here. I mean, what it tells me, these people in the media are just so desperate to try to find a story. I mean, they're trying to overturn rocks and anything to try to find something, and again, the part that's sad about this, it's not about trying to write a good story about something honorable. It's to try to get something on somebody. It's trying to get your name out there. Oh, I want a Pulitzer Prize because I was a person that broke this or whatever. I mean, they're out for themselves. They're the most selfish group of people out there, and they're people complain about athletes having ego. I'll tell you what, these people, some of the people in the media today and these writers just think that they're larger than life, and that people hang on their words that they pen. I'm sorry, folks. it doesn't fly with me. Now, some people, and we see it in the larger scale culturally, that still a lot of people out there drinking the Kool-Aid they're pouring, but for the most part, people are getting wise to what's happening, and I think Coach Franklin handled it exceptionally well with his comments back to them, and I don't think
he was pretty stern, wasn't he?
I mean,
he said he worked his, and we won't say it, he worked his Watusi off to get to Penn State.
Right. Well,
it's the truth. He said, "Listen, man, I did all this to get here, but don't you guys start there?" And it is true. Listen, a person in the media, just like the gentleman that had, who was it that somebody, a family member died of, the gentleman that was pitching last night, and nobody brought it up. And, some folks said, hey, it's the media's job. They wouldn't be doing their job. I mean, do your job, but do it with integrity. Walk in integrity.
Right.
And you know what? You could be the first person to break a story, but guess what? If you have a good relationship with a person, and I know you run into this in the NFL, your coach, is that you got to have the relationship with that person for them to go ahead and talk. I mean, like Phil Gross, kind of crazy dude and all that other kind of stuff. But guess what? He's the one that earned my respect up there that I was going to tell most things about. Then there were some other people whose names I won't mention that they came and told me one person wanted injury reports from me. They took me out to lunch. I'm thinking I'm having a nice, quiet lunch. And a person wanted injury reports. You got to walk in integrity.
Wow. Hey, well, Steph, and I still remember in the squad room with, a team meeting, Joe saying, "I don't want you talking to that Phil Gross. You stay away from him."
Right.
Right. So, but he
never told on me. He never told on me.
Well, the interesting thing is, and I give Coach credit for that. He's coaching the players even back then about what's up with the media, and now it's so much more. They're so much more tenacious at trying to, how should I say, weasel into something. I guess there's no other way to say it. That's what they do. They just try to find it. I mean, I remember one time back when a friend of ours was ill, and I got word, and it was a serious matter, and I mentioned about having a prayer request, and next thing you know, I'm getting calls from Chicago and all over the place saying, because I mentioned to my friends on my Facebook, hey, remember this person here to pray for them. They're having some illnesses, and I thought, man, this is outrageous, and they have no integrity. They have no respect for privacy whatsoever, because, here, we're trying to do something genuine because we care for our friends, and they don't have any respect for that whatsoever. And shame on you, all of you. That's all I can say. Shame on all of you. You're reprehensible for acting that way. You're worse than these tabloid things you see that I hope nobody pays for in the supermarket stuff. I mean, that's out.
I'm just laughing, Skip, man. You must be ready to really give it to folks. You use reprehensible, man. You getting the whip out there, brother.
Man, I'm telling you, I just get sick and tired of seeing this silliness.
Let me jump in here though. I wanted to ask you guys too. Obviously, we were talking about Golden. A very a sad thing that he had to experience being part of Miami's worst loss in their history. But I just wonder, I'm not sure how your guys' experience was, but I know when I was playing, we had a Big Ten style, and we had coaches that came into the Big Ten. I remember there was a coach at Purdue. He came in with Drew Brees. He brought in this 5 receiver style offense, and a couple coaches tried to bring in some styles into the Big Ten, and they struggled, and not very many of them made it. And I wonder, do you guys think Golden's situation was something where he brought a style to the South and the styles clashed? Or do you think it was, the Miami part of it? Or do you think it was had he been maybe at a East Coast team or a Midwest team, he might have had more success? What are your guys' thoughts on that?
Well, let me just jump in there real quick, and I know we got to get to scores in a few minutes, but what I say is I think you brought up a good point, because there is a dichotomy in terms of how teams are handled in programs. Now, we know everybody, anytime you're on 30 for 30 and they talk about you, part one and part two, whoever comes in there is going to have it difficult. Yes, they are. Okay? They're going to have it difficult. Their expectations are high. But again, you have to work with them. You have to work with the clay you have. You can't mold a champion in there when you don't have it. And you have to clean up the issues. So people are concerned about cleaning up the issues here in college football. But winning continues to prevail over cleaning it up. So someone can be on probation, but if you win and you do all those other things, you can be overlooked. I just think that had he been in an East Coast school, or I should say up the coast some more, there probably would have been a little bit more patience. But if you look at it, you got people in the NFL. You got folks, Brian McKinney and all those other folks tweeting and saying, hey, they're tweeting and they're saying, hey, maybe we could come on the field and coach the offensive line. Maybe we can get involved with the coaching. So it's that very strong alumni base that they have. They have a very strong alumni base. The fans are there. And as Skip said, I'm not so sure the priority for the University of Street. I think that's one thing that they tried to fix. They brought in the right person. But guess what? They're not valuing whatever it is that Al's bringing to the table. And I think, yes, another school would value it. And that's where I'm coming from, you know. But the guy leaves from there, and I think I'm just reading here that he comes in here, and his entire stint was marred by an NCAA investigation and subsequent fallout. And the guy gets fired from the game and goes and visits a player's dying mother after he gets fired. I mean, come on, man, what a quality guy.
Yeah, there's just some things that are just really jacked up there, and you know, unfortunately, and I want to say this here, even at Penn State, sometimes I think I just get concerned about the direction things are heading up here, because I think the mentality has become, you know, and Penn State's always been about the money. Let's just face it. I think sometimes they forget their focus too, and having the right people in the right places to try to reel those people back in too, I think needs to be a reminder every now and again, because I know the fans want to see wins all the time. Every fan does, from every school, but you know, this isn't, you know, the NFL. You know, people aren't getting paid yet for this playing this sport, but you know, there's supposed to be a place where people try to prepare themselves for, you know, the biggest transition in their life, and that's to where they can try to become a productive citizen and a responsible person and human being, and contribute to society, and use the talents and gifts they were created with. And you know, I think sometimes that gets way out of focus.
Yeah, well, I mean, but I think the question is, though, Skip, do you think that if Al Golden was up our way, would there be more time? Or because he went to Miami, was he just destined to lose his job?
I think he was definitely in a hotbed down there, and I really don't know who can come in there and truly turn around to what they have envisioned or what they really want. I mean, everybody wants to have their their cake and ice cream and eat it all at the same time, but you know,
man, you feeling ice cream, dog?
Yeah, that's right, man. You know, and vanilla at that. It's my favorite.
That's real heavy.
Yeah, it is. It is. I like the real nice, quick, creamy stuff. But anyway, I'm already thinking dessert.
Yeah. So anyway.
Well, Skip, maybe we'll add ice cream in with the sub.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll do that for. We got picks this week, so we'll have to come up. You know, we're running down at about our last 9 minutes here left, guys, and we got to do our picks. Maybe give us some predictions here for what we can see with Illinois coming up. It's Fast Hour in college football, folks. Thanks for joining us out there on line and listening to us on AM radio and FM as we simulcast out there. You know, we are Lions Live. We're the only network built by the players through the fans, and we're not a podcast, and this isn't pre-recorded, so you get us live. So it's kind of a fun experience each week, and we appreciate your patience with us. So, hey, we have Illinois coming up here next week, and looking at some of the numbers here, how ESPN puts it, it's kind of an interesting matchup here we have coming up this week.
Yeah, I think so. I think that Illinois has a good quarterback. They've got a top receiver. And from what I understand and what I read about, Coach Franklin says the offensive line for Illinois is a good one. And he knows about the coaches. And again, this will be, we're going to find out just how much that depth has helped us on the O-line, on the D-line. And of course, the O-line switching with Wendy Laurent now and Angelo Mangrino, having both centers in there, one at center and one at guard. And we did go up 3 sacks last week, but I think we're in a lot better shape and we're playing much more consistent. We did have a gentleman come in, right after Andrew Nelson got hurt, and I think our depth is starting to show. I think that's, and when you look at the games they've had and the losses that they've had, I mean, they lost to North Carolina. They got smoked by North Carolina. They lost to Iowa 29-20, and they lost to Wisconsin at home. So we'll see. I mean, and they beat the Nebraska team on any day. Any win against the Nebraska program is a good win. So we'll see what happens.
I think it's going to be a close game, and I look at the numbers here. They have a pretty powerful offensive passing game, but I noticed Penn State I think has a better, stronger running game. So I think time of possession, Penn State I think this week if they run well, I think could probably keep the other team's offense off the field.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was just going to add. I mean, I don't think definitely we should take them lightly.
No.
I think, Skip made Big Dude talked about the big loss with North Carolina, and then that win against Nebraska, and then they also played Iowa and Wisconsin. They lost to Iowa 20-29. They lost to Wisconsin 13-24. So it sounds like, the Big Ten, they've been right there. They beat Nebraska by a point. They lost to Iowa by 9. They lost to Wisconsin by 11. So some close games. They're definitely hungry for a win. So I definitely think it's going to be. I think it's going to be an exciting game. So I'm looking forward to it.
No doubt. Well said, Yakov. Well, we got about 5 minutes left here, so let's go ahead and start in some of our picks this week. Kicking off 12 noon. We'll cover Penn State last year, but we also have ESPN2 covering Nebraska at Purdue.
Ooh, man. I tell you what, Nebraska has got to do it this week. They had a tough year. I think Purdue is not quite good enough to beat Nebraska. I'm going to bet on Nebraska again against my better judgment. But I'll take Nebraska.
Okay. Yakov, what do you think?
Oh man, that's. I mean, I'm looking at the rankings right now. Purdue is 0-3 in the Big Ten, 1-6 overall. Nebraska's 3-5 overall. Oh man, I mean, I think I'm just going to go with Nebraska. I think they're just a little bit ahead right now.
Yep, I'm with you. I think we got a consensus on that. I think we lost Dan there for a second or two. Maybe he'll join us back again. And also another 12 o'clock kickoff. And I noticed Big Ten has a lot of 12 o'clock kickoff games this week. Looks like 3 of them at 12 noon kickoffs. We have Rutgers at Wisconsin on the Big Ten Network.
Well, you say, Coach. Go ahead, Coach. I was trying to think through it, but go ahead.
I mean, I'm going to go with Wisconsin. I think, they're 6-2. They're a strong team. Rutgers, obviously, we work them pretty good. So I'm going to go with Wisconsin.
Yeah, I think I'm there too.
Yep, we got a consensus there. I think so too. They're a team to contend with. And mid-afternoon game, we got Maryland at number 10, Iowa. That's an ABC kickoff there mid-afternoon. That's their game, one of the games of the week.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's very shocking, though, that Iowa's undefeated. Iowa's 7-0 right now. Very shocking. We got Iowa 7-0. We got Michigan State 8-0. Ohio State 8-0. So, I'm very, very I'm going to go with Iowa, but it's just interesting that they're undefeated right now.
Surprising, isn't it? Very surprising. Yep, I'm with you on that. I'm with you. I think Iowa's gonna beat Maryland.
Well, and I want you to record this. Upset alert.
Okay. Here we go.
Win. Upset alert.
Okay.
Terps win. Terps
No
win.
kidding.
Terps.
All right. The big dude's picking Maryland. All right. Okay. We'll remember that one. And then
we might have to put some stakes on that one.
All right, man. Well, you name it, man. We have to teach you. This is for the old college diner. You know what I mean? Yeah, the person picks up the check at the old college diner, then loses that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
I'm already into these guys here for some subs of their choice wherever they want. So
don't do that. Don't get us in trouble, man.
Yeah, that's all right. That's all right. Hey,
I don't want your pastor coming and chastising me now.
No. Well, this is just a friendly gift. I'm not getting.
I know. I'm teasing you.
I know, buddy. I know. That's great. Hey, we're down to 2 minutes here left. Quick. So we have Michigan and Minnesota, and I'm picking Michigan over Minnesota.
Yeah, I want to do the same.
Yeah, I'm the same way, man. That Harbaugh thing is pretty dangerous right now.
It is. I think he's
him being the head coach, man. You just never know. I mean, they always got a shot.
Yep.
So
hey, we're down to our minute here, guys. So Penn State, Illinois. What do you think?
We are.
Of course.
Okay. Well, I'm going to do it again, Stefan. I'm going to do it again. Upset alert.
Okay.
Upset alert. But I think by 3. Illinois by 3. I don't like it. I don't want it. I want to be wrong. But I think they're just coming in here hungry. I think that's going to happen.
Yeah, and you know what, Skip? That I mean, the fact that they lost the last 2 games so closely, man. I mean, they played some quality teams. They played Wisconsin already. They played. Let me see. Who is that? Iowa. They played. Yeah, they played Wisconsin, Iowa, and Nebraska already. I mean, they know what they got to do, so it's going to be a good game. I'm going for Penn State, but it's going to be a good game.
Yeah, I think it's been one of the top games this year, probably next to. Well, I don't know what's going to happen here at the end with Michigan. We'll see. Those are going to be some great games too, but this is going to be one of the best. It's like each week it gets a little better, so I think we're going to be there. All right, guys, a couple 20 seconds left here, 30 seconds. Any parting comments here for the week?
Well, I just want to say that I'm looking forward to a great game, much improved team, and I'm looking forward to, again, Skip, the thing to remember is Penn State is finding a way to win. I think people keep saying that Penn State is very fortunate about winning. Well, guess what? There hasn't been a game, there hasn't been a year where any team has won a championship, including Ohio State last year, that they were not fortunate, and they were fortunate to beat a Penn State team. So if you had Hackenberg, who's a little bit more accurate, like he is this year, and you had Chris Godwin, who's a monster receiver like he is this year, guess what? Maybe it's a foot away, and maybe Ohio State loses again their second game. Okay? So they're finding ways to win, and I'm looking forward to Penn State finding a way to win against Illinois. And let's go.
Well said. Well said. Hey, we want to thank Dan the Fan for being with us. And on behalf of Big Dude, Stefan Davis, Yaakov Yisrael, my name's Skip Drawas. Thanks for joining us. Look forward to having a big Penn State win this weekend. Y'all coming in, drive safe. And don't forget, this Sunday is the Lord's Day. Get on out to church. Thanks for joining us, folks. Have a great night. Lord bless.
Dominated the field, Dr. Ben Carson, now ahead of billionaire Donald Trump. It's a trend former New York Governor George Pataki believes could benefit his campaign.
I haven't held public office in 8 years. I've never held public office in Washington, but I know how to run government.
Republicans return to the debate stage again next month, about 3 months away from the first contest in Iowa. Kathleen.
Thanks, Jared. The CNBC debate heard on Westwood One. A budget deal moves on to the Senate.
The bipartisan 2-year budget package that also addresses the government borrowing authority through March 2017 passed the House by a 266 to 167 vote. But California Republican Congressman Darrell Issa said he would vote no because some of the pay-fors are gimmicks.
We're robbing from the future to pay for today.
Yet the chairman of the House Armed Services Committee, Mac Thornberry, said this package would provide some budgeting certainty.
If we do not approve this budget, then what? Well, then we are back to continuing resolutions and sequester.
Fox News Radio's Mike Emanuel. The House nominating Paul Ryan as its Speaker.
This begins a new day in the House of Representatives.
The full House votes tomorrow. Stocks post solid gains after a late afternoon rally, the Dow gaining 198 points. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Are you hiring but not sure where to find the best candidates? As a business owner, I can tell you that your company is only as good as the people you hire. I can also tell you that posting your job in one place isn't enough to find quality candidates. But when you're short-staffed, there's no